a subscriber emailed me asking me how he could get his wife to initiate sex. Let's discuss. But first, just for those of you who say I don't show enough of my body, I'm always from the neck up, here I am. I'm getting ready to go to my personal training this morning. And for my Just for Fans guys, I just made the same video with no leggings on. So be sure to check that out. Let's begin. So this gentleman gave me his permission to read this email he sent me. So I have his full permission. And his name is T. Hi Morgan. I've been with my wife nearly 10 years and she's never been much of an instigator, but over time I've realized she's definitely a sub. That's typical for most women. We like to be submissive in bed. That's our feminine energy and we prefer the man to dominate. Over the past 4 years, I've put on a lot of muscle and she loves that. Yes. Massive arms, huge shoulders, and solid thighs turn her on. From time to time, she likes some passionate intimacy. Slow, passionate sex, definitely sensual lovemaking. However, she definitely responds best to rough, alpha male dominance and being choked and fucked against the headboard, bent over and fucked senseless from behind. Oh my God, this is a dream come true. Every woman wants a man like this, I'm sure. I've realized she comes usually 2 or 3 times before I do. The only thing is I wish she was more of an instigator instead of a one-way street. But I suppose everyone is different. Every time we have sex, she's left in a heap smiling. And I know she loves it, in caps, loves. And maybe it is a hard question to answer, but from a female perspective, is there anything I can do to make her want to launch herself at me first? Thank you for any small feedback. Have a great week. Signed, his name. So I love his email. I know this is a legit email. And I had some follow-up questions for him. I asked him if she ever initiates around ovulation, because women are horny around ovulation. And he told me that he had never really noticed that. I asked him if he's ever talked to her about initiating, and he said he had at one point many years before, and she had said that she prefers him to initiate. I asked if he doesn't initiate, would she get horny enough to initiate for herself, and he said it would take a couple of weeks of no sex before she would initiate herself. And then he continued on and told me more information. I just want to read this because I want people to know, if you have a woman who doesn't like to fuck, I want you to hear how responsive this woman is to him and how much he enjoys turning her on. I'm just very moved by his story, and then I'm going to tell you how to get a woman to initiate, okay? But let's keep reading this first. It's not a serious issue to worry about, but I've reached out and glad I did now, because answering the questions you asked me caused me to reflect. As I say, and maybe as you think, it's not really a serious issue. I mean, who would be complaining about leaving their wife fucked in a heap of pleasure? There is no problem sexually. I know all her triggers. Fucking in missionary without speaking about it. I know she loves my muscular shoulders. My shoulders and traps are Hulk-like, and without being discreet about it, during sex, when I thrust, I drive my shoulder into her face. And the more I do, I know she loves that, because she'll bite a shoulder sometimes. And with an arm support behind her head, she will kiss my biceps. All of a sudden, her voice will become so deep and low, and she will start groaning, saying, "Oh fuck, I'm going to caca," and then just come as hard as she can. I love that. So envious of her. Another trigger is she likes the idea of people being exposed to her sex. It really turns her on as well. For example, when she comes, she screams the house down, and the louder I smash her against the headboard, it turns her on because the neighbors definitely can hear what's going on. He has a sexually responsive woman on his hands, a very fortunate man. When I take her from behind, I'll grab her ponytail, etc. Love that. I want to be fucked like this. It just always has been strange to me that she comes so easily and is so helpless when I get a hold of her, but never wants to initiate. I think that it might be, as you alluded to, she loves the alpha male hunter maybe, and it's more of a turn on for her. Yes, you may read this. The only thing is I asked to remain anonymous. I do appreciate that email. How you asked the questions really made me reflect. Thank you. Okay. So first of all, it is in our natural desire for the man to dominate and the woman to be submissive. I personally become much more aroused when I am submissive and not in the doing mode. Okay, it's really hard for me to come while I'm moving. I have to be relaxed and submissive. So that's just the natural energy. But people can definitely switch things up. And you can ask a woman and just have this discussion about it, the energies. Sometimes it's fun for the woman to get into her masculine energy by initiating, by leading, even wearing a strap on, penetrating the man. And if she's ever been with a woman, with the women, we can't rely on the woman to initiate unless she's a butch woman. When I was with lesbians or with women, if they weren't in their masculine, really, I had to learn to initiate. And I think it's fun to initiate, but I've kind of tried to be, it makes me, I have to consciously get into my masculine energy, or I have to be really horny. Now, this is where this part comes in. This is the most important part I want to say. For women, for most men, their sexual desire is at the ready. They get turned on easily, and that's why men pay for sex and women don't. Men are very attuned to their sexual desire, and in general, it's stronger in men and always at the ready, always at the tip. For women, for most women, not for me, but for most women, their sexual desire is more latent. It has to be awakened. It has to be stirred. And for a woman, there are many more. Think of people being turned on as they have accelerators, things that will turn them on, and decelerators, things that will turn them off. A woman has many more decelerators. Thinking about work, being tired, kids around. There are many more things that will decelerate a woman and make her out of touch with her arousal. John Gray, who had a very sexual relationship with his wife, talks in his book about this very same thing. They loved sex. They were very sexual together, but she often wasn't in the mood when he was. So he would say to her, is there a part of you that would want to have sex? Would you feel into that part that is a maybe? Let's explore that part of you that's a maybe. And then she would feel into that part and come from that part. I've talked to other women who feel the same way, that their sexual desire is sometimes not there. It needs to be stoked. They don't feel it at the ready. I would say that a woman will feel it more when she's ovulating, when she gets into her late 40s and 50s, if it's been a long time since she had sex. And then I think there are also things that, for the accelerators and decelerators, getting her away from the home into a hotel room. And then finally, I would say having that discussion of, you know what, I would love for you to initiate. And having her consciously make that decision that I'm going to initiate, and have her discover the joys of initiating, the pleasures of initiating. I think that for some women, I think that people can get into a rut and a pattern of, this is how it always is. I like him to initiate. It feels super good because I've never tried it. I've never given myself, say, the permission to do it because I was taught. See, some women are taught that they shouldn't like sex, that they're bad for liking sex. It could be subconscious or underlying belief to explore. And then that's why for many women a rape fantasy is common. Not for me. I would never want to fantasize that. To me, that's just like way too scary. I've never been raped. I don't want to be raped. But I'm just saying the reason that some women like it is because they feel like I had to do it. I'm not a bad girl for wanting to fuck. He just did it to me. I'm just submitting to him. So there could be a story of good women don't like sex. I shouldn't initiate. There could be a limiting belief around it. So that would be something to explore. And then also being in a certain habit and a certain way of doing it. You know, what would it be like as a woman if you start initiating? You were the one writing him. You were the one pinning him down or wrestling with him. You were the one maybe penetrating him with your finger, with a toy, with a strap-on. You might not get as turned on, but it would be fun. It would be variety. And men love when a woman initiates. In my escort appointments, they always want me to initiate. And frankly, that's not my preference. It's an appointment. I mean, I would do it occasionally to lead. When I was married, I did like to initiate when I was horny. I did. But I got most turned on when he was the alpha guy in the bedroom and my ex-husband was. That's usually what women like. But like I said, it's fun to switch things up, play with our different sexual energies, give the man a chance to feel desired and pursued, and question our limiting beliefs. Oh, one more thing I want to say. You can also do things to turn the woman on, to turn your wife on throughout the day. Like sending her sexy messages, you know, touching her in certain ways. But then don't pursue, because when you leave, she's really going to notice it. You know, just do something that you would when you initiated sex usually, and then stop or walk away. Make her, turn her on, and then stop. And just see what happens. You want to find out what kind of gets her arousal going. Maybe give her a massage, and just a massage. And then see if she initiates sex. Like, take her away on a trip and see if she gets more in the mood outside the home. I didn't ask T if he has children. Children would definitely put a damper on you wanting to have sex when they're around. For the woman, I think I was all over the place with this, but let me try to summarize. Women naturally prefer to be submissive, the majority of women. Have a discussion with her about initiating and that you like it, and have her explore her masculine energy, have her explore her limiting beliefs, and finally, set up the conditions to turn on the accelerators and turn off the decelerators by taking her on a trip, sending her sexy messages, running her a bath, giving her a massage, starting some touch, and then walking away, and awaken her natural desire, which for many women is more hidden naturally. So, I hope that's helped. I would love to hear some comments from other viewers. And I love these kinds of emails because I do give people free advice when they ask me things about their relationships or things that they're struggling with. So feel free to, send me your emails, and then with your permission, I would love to read them and make a YouTube video because I think it's super fun. Thank you for watching my video. Guys, I'm back from the gym and I listened to the video I made and I need to add something to it. So I'm gonna delete the video I uploaded and upload this one, add it on. Is that I asked him if she ever had initiated sex, especially early in the relationship. And I had a reason for asking that. Because a woman's desire for a man is going to be strongest when she first meets him. After that, her desire will go to her baseline desire. So a question that a friend of mine who's a sex therapist likes to ask women he dates is, how often do you masturbate? And that gives you an idea of the woman's intrinsic desire, because a woman's desire can be heightened by a new man or by a man initiating, let's say. And so T did say that when they were first dating, she did initiate. Okay, so that's an important thing. There are some women who never initiate, who have a really low sex drive, or who have shame around initiating, because like I said, they have this limiting belief. So in summary, what I'd like to say is that a man's sexual desire is always at the tip of his dick. He gets hard constantly. It's his testosterone, it's his drive. And a woman's is more latent and hidden for many women. A woman can enliven her natural desire by thinking about it and by giving attention to her vagina and her pussy. That's what I do. I feel it inside my body. So I awaken it and I give myself permission to have it. So there's a mental part and a physical part of allowing and enlivening it. That's a conscious decision. But I want to say, guys, that your woman is as likely to initiate sex as you are to initiate a discussion about your feelings, your thoughts, her feelings, her thoughts, where the relationship is going, renewing your wedding vows. And a woman is going to say, why doesn't he talk about his feelings more? Why isn't he more romantic? So just realize that men use sex to feel connected, and women need to feel connected to want sex. There's another saying that men will fuck anything that walks, and women have to like the thing that fucks. So there's just a natural difference in our attunement to our sexual desire. But women can definitely cultivate that by bringing awareness to it. And men, if your wife is not interested in sex at all, you can also do some of the things I mentioned earlier in the video about creating conditions that make it more likely for her to feel in tune with her desire. And then also just challenging a woman, like, it would be nice if you initiate, just try it. She may not get as turned on. I can guarantee, I really think that the women who are like, prefer being in control all the time, have their hearts closed. It's, they can get off, but their hearts are closed. They're just having physical sex, in my opinion, because I've talked to women like that. And they said they have sex like that when their hearts were closed or they didn't have feelings for the man. A woman in her feminine energy is naturally going to be vulnerable and receptive and submissive. And that is not the same energy that's the penetrating, focused energy that starts everything. Okay, so that's it. I hope this video has been helpful and thank you for watching.